Check. Almost did it again, folks. I don't know why I can't remember to restart AudioCast before my stream, but it's just one of those things I cannot remember to do. All right. I got my little microphone here. I am using the Brio still, but I feel like when I have more lighting, the Brio looks way better. And now with the mic in the way, I got maybe something like that. That's fine. I could bring it up. Then I have a shadow on my face. I could do something like this, but that was probably too far away. Bring it closer to my mouth. I don't know. It's funny the kind of comments I get on some of my videos, and I'm just here to help. Really, if you don't want my help, then go watch someone else's channel. But I can only do so much. So whatever. Trying to get me down. All right, so tonight we're going to talk about amp sims versus modeling versus real amps. And what are the strengths and the weaknesses or pros and cons of both kinds of setups. And right now, for instance, I'm playing through S-Gear plugin. And I think it sounds pretty good. So play some jazz there, for instance. Now, you could use a plugin live, and you can go to like the MIDI tab, and you could have a MIDI switcher that says, okay, when I hit this switch, I want you to go to this amp and turn on this delay and this reverb, stuff like that. But for the most part, I'm probably not going to go that far. I just want to sit at my desk and play through some kind of amp sim just for ease of use. So, we have Elizabeth in the house. Elizabeth is in the house. Yes, the kids are bathed and are in bed, and it's time to rock. And I might as well rock in front of a camera. So yeah. Ben Burnett. We're not here to really compare. We're just going to talk about each kind of setup and what it's good for. Now, tonally, I think they all sound great. But obviously, I'm playing through headphones right now. And if I was playing through a Vox AC30 here in the room, that's a totally different experience than expecting that same sound to sound really good in headphones. Even though it really can, because once you put a mic in front of a speaker cab, and then you're running it through either studio monitors or headphones or whatever you're monitoring back through, the room sound kind of goes out of the equation, and now you're just hearing a direct mic in front of a cabinet, especially with the cab is in a totally separate room and is isolated from the room that you're in. I think there is a little something to say about a real amp and how that sounds through a microphone. But whether you're using an amp sim or a modeler, they can all sound really close. So yeah, it's just Tuesday nights are my time to just get away and do some rocking. So that's how it is. And I would like this amp sim to be a little farther over here, so I can get that out of the way. But Ben, let me know what kind of setup that you have and why you enjoy that setup over some other option. So, but as the topic for tonight, we can go a totally different direction if you want to. Just ask a question and we can go off on a tangent together. But for right now, let's play through this S gear and I'll go through some different tones I've called up. I am playing the Kiesel. Can't really see that. Let me go back here. Press C. I'm playing the Kiesel 7-string. She is a beauty. And I've really grown accustomed to 7-strings. I really like them. They do not feel foreign to me. I do remember, when was it? Sometime back in community college, a guy I knew came over to the dorm with his 7-string guitar. And I was like, man, I don't even know the first thing about playing on one of these, but it's really not too bad though. I'm trying to turn this off. There we go. Let's go another sound. That was a little. Let's do this one. Now I feel like, where's my input coming in at? I'm on 11. If I turn my gain down, this is one thing I've been noticing here lately on YouTube, is the amount of people commenting on, if you're using a plugin, how should you dial in your gain staging, or how much gain should you give your preamp going into that plugin? And it's been all over the, all over the spectrum of, oh, you need to turn your gain up to where you're not peaking, and then other times you have to turn the gain all the way down, and that's what the plugin expects. So we'll see how this works here. So here's the pre. I have it set to instrument, so I have it turned all the way down. And that's pretty good. Got my ratio all the way down. Shape, attack. Let's turn the attack up. Okay, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that with the preamp down, that's really the setting you should have it at. Cool, I like that. Let's choose another setting. Let's go back to my other view so you can see what I'm doing. And these are all presets that I've made for the S gear. Turn that drive off. That's kind of like a Klon kind of thing. There's the neck pickup. So, I don't know about you, but that sounds really good. Here's a floating in the clouds kind of thing. So I basically have some clean, some rocks, and some ambient style tones with this plug-in. Let's turn off that, store this. Okay. Now in the Pro Convolver area here, you can see I have my Doc McFarland IR selections. So I have an AB, which is a greenback 57, 100% with a Royer 121 down 50%. So it's kind of like that. You're moving the faders up and down. And that's the left cab. And then the right cab is the JK. So it's a greenback 421 off axis, down 50%, and then a vintage 30 with a 421 at 100%. And I do have these panned hard left and right. And this one should be also, should be hearing this in stereo, which I do. I hear it in stereo. So you should be doing that too. Stereo width. What is this saying? Ah, I see. Maybe that's right. There you go. I got the delays going now, which is cool. Yeah. If I slide that over a little bit. Okay. It's pretty fun. Let's store that one up. And then we'll go to like a Wayfarer lead kind of sound or a rhythm. Cool. So I like this plug-in. It works really well. Let's move on to something else. Let me hit C over here. Let me go back. All right, so let's switch this one out. Oh man. And we're gonna do let's do the revalver real fast. Okay, so we got basically a headrush plug-in. It's not a controller or an editor for your headrush. which a lot of people were very excited when this came out. But it's really just an update from Revolver 4. This is Revolver 5. So, nothing magical going on here. It's just... let me change the settings. Oh, I see. This is going out 13 and 14. And the other one was doing 11 and 12. Let's just do that. So with this, you have to set your inputs and outputs accordingly. And I'm plugged into mic 11. Okay, what's going on here? Okay, 11 and 12. So close that one up and close that. So you can see we have basically a basement amp. And once again, it sounds really good. Sounds good. So I am using the RIR loader with my own Doctor McFarland stuff. You can just click here. I think hit the plus. No, you hit whatever this is doing. My mouse is spinning for some reason. Oh, there we are. Okay, never mind. I'm not going to hit that. You would hit this thing. So there's all kinds of stuff in here. There's a clean collection, AC 120. This, just for example, let's throw that in there. That one's okay, but you can't go wrong with the Doc McFarland IR pack, just because you can't. Oh man, it's just smooth as butter. So it sounds great with every amp in there. Okay, so what do I have going on here? I got some yawning going on. That's what I got. There's some overdrives going on, but not a whole lot. Then we have amp and cab, and then we have effects. So I have delay, which I can turn on. I'm going to turn the sync on. Make sure this is at quarters. Turn the cut down so it's nice and dark. And let's turn the feedback up just a little bit so we get more. Okay, fun. Okay, so that's a clean sound. Really, with any one of these plugins, you can change stuff up. But let's just right-click. Let's replace this module. There's the Revolver stuff, but there's also just straight-up head rush stuff in here. Black shimmer is always good. There's your blue line bass amp and your scoop. Let's go with a Super Drive V20. See what this does. Changing the channel. Something's going on with this one. It's kind of mid-thick, if you ask me. So everything's not going to be a winner, but that you have lots of flexibility here when you're choosing amps. And once you find a few that you like, there's really not tons you have to do after that. Ooh, it's getting windy outside. I just heard it. Now the MS-30, I use that a lot on the headrush unit. Yep, have a good night over there. And you're in California, so you're a few hours behind me. So it would be dinner time for you. Cool. I am staying blessed, that's for sure. We got some compression going on or something. I can hear it. Something going on with these VU meters or something. Turn it down. Okay. So I would say don't let the needle hit past the 0 mark. Very similar to what I do on the headrush unit itself. Okay, that works for that. Let's do one more amp here. I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm yawning so much. PV Classic 30. I had the Delta Blues for a little while years ago. It was a cool amp. Turn on the reverb. Nice classic. Spring reverb kind of stuff. And we got normal channel. Dirty channel. Okay. There we are. So on the Classic 30 amps and also the Delta Blues amps, channel 1 is the gain channel, then channel 2 is the normal channel. So that's why it was kind of throwing me off a little bit. Cool. All right, so once again, we have another option for an amp sim plug-in, and I can get all kinds of cool sounds out of it that I want. Let's just do one more, because I really do like the higher gain like the 6505 stuff. Crunch channel. Greg is in the house. What up, Greg? Sonic DNA Studios, the fine maker of Doctor McFarland IR pack, which I always use on everything. So if you like the tones I get, then check out the pack on sonicdna.com. Okay, so what's going on with the gain staging on this? Not sure what it is. Some compression or something going on after the fact. I'm not quite sure where it's coming from. Okay. I like that. Okay. Just fine. Let's do one more. And this will complete the amp sim kind of stuff that I have. I had other things over the years. I don't care if you see what's in my applications folder. Like JS tones. No, it's some other amp. I do have Amplitude in here. Let's look at Amplitude 5 real fast. I also have the amped stuff. Where is it? Okay, that crashed. Maybe I have to update it or something. Okay. So this kind of stuff, this is pretty cool. I know I have a license for this stuff. Come on, man. What's going to happen is... Okay. And that crashed. I don't know. Yeah. Let's go on to the McRockland stuff. I'll look at those two plugins and see why they're crashing. Yes, okay. Don't want to... Let's switch the output channel to 11 and 12. And my analog input is mic 11. Audio buffer is going to be at 64 samples. Okay. So we're good on this. This is honestly a really good... It's a really good plugin. And why I like it is it has lots of cool presets on it. That I really like. So like pop chords. That was supposed to be something else. Pop chords. Now, there's not a huge difference between all those different plugins I've been demonstrating here in the last however long. But what they all have in common is you can find great tones in any of them and then use these to record into your DAW of choice and make great music. So, and that's all without having to own an amp or a modeler. You just use plugins in the computer. This also has an auto wall setting, which is kind of neat. So if we go here, I use this auto wall in the head rush a lot. So that way I don't have to use my foot as much. I can just have some cool settings going and. Man, this pick. I'm trying these Guinness picks, and I like them a lot, but they're kind of big and weird. But it's supposed to be an auto wall. Cool. I like that sound. That works for me. Hyperglow or Afterglow. It's got a lot of bass going on in there. Let me turn that bass down a little bit. Eight string. I don't have an 8 string, but I do have a 7 string. Let's try what this thing is. Maybe turn the gain down. I was in the key of B, then I changed the E for some reason. Let's see. Sounds like, for the love of God, I don't even know how to play that song. Crazy Train. Crazy Train. Now, if I play this on a 7 string, will the YouTube algorithm figure out the song. Let's see. It's pretty close. Now, what's funny about Crazy Train, that song, or the recording of Crazy Train, it's not the greatest guitar tone I've ever heard. So it baffles me why you'd want to try and recreate that. There's so many better guitar tones that you could come up with, but still play the riff and still have the energy and the cool playing and stuff, but just have a better tone. Here's like deep chugs. All right, cool. So that concludes the amp sim portion. And that's just all me sitting here at the desk. Nothing else. No modeling going on. Just amp sim goodness. Now at this point, if y'all want to talk about anything else, I'm perfectly fine with that. But otherwise, I will plug in to my Headrush core over here. And now we got what do I have? I have this in hybrid mode, which you're not going to be able to see this right now. I can alleviate that real fast. If I want to plug in this cable, I'm going to plug in a cable. How about that? For my other camera. And then go here, turn on this thing. Maybe. I'm so organized, folks. I am so organized. One day, I will be the arbiter of organization. But until then, let's see what we got. Nope, not that. Yeah, we got that. Okay, so trying to line that up a little bit better. So now in the world of modeling, this could include Helix or Kemper or Headrush or Fractal or Quad Cortex or Ampero or MG100 or Tonemaster Pro. I mean, really anything out there. They're all the Boss stuff. There's even the new Boss IR little pedal thing. It's like tons of different amps in there. And I'm honestly thinking about getting one, but not for me, but for the church, because the worship leader now wants to play electric guitar, and it'd be really easy for him to just plug into that little Boss pedal and get a great amp sound. I'm not sure if it has reverb built in or not, but it'd be a cool way to have a clean and a dirty. And then I might pair that up with the HX effects so we can get some drives and some other delays and reverbs, and he can just have fun with that little setup. And it would be really good. So now in this one, I do have a Revolver cab in there, which I deem worthy of using because it sounds pretty good. But I am using the Black Mini on here. And there's tons of other amps I could potentially use. Let's just say, for example, I want to do like a super reverb. Okay. Oh, come on. which is not that different than the Black Mini because they're all in that Fender kind of vein. That was going to be a little dirtier sound. And honestly, that's really good. And then once you get a sound you like on the amp, you can turn on some tremolo. Okay, so all these amps and cabs and effects are contained within the Mahler itself. You really don't need to add any external pedals or whatever. This is just really, it would just complicate things. So. And then we can turn on some delay. I don't know what's going on with the weather here, but it was a little warm today. And I have the air off right now so it doesn't get into the mic and stuff, but it's rather toasty in here and I'd like to turn it on, really. Now, here lately, I've really enjoyed using the Sheriff, which is the Marshall Governor kind of pedal. And I think it just sounds really good. I'll turn the bass back up a little bit. Now, earlier, somebody commented on my MX5 video on how to make a basic rig. And he basically was asking how to get a good clean and dirty tone. And he said the MX5 was hard to use. Okay. I'm not sure what else you're used to using, but in my experience, all the headrush stuff is very easy to use. And maybe he just wasn't getting the sound he wanted right out of the gate, so he felt like it was hard to use. But honestly, if you can just go in, choose a block, choose any number of amps and effects or stuff in here that you want, bring in the cab, bring in some delay and reverb. I mean, there's a great little sound right there that you can use for all kinds of stuff. So really, what I'm showcasing here is you don't have to have a lot of things in your preset or your rig to get a good sound. Just keep it real basic. If you're used to using a real amp in the room and you have a small pedal board of maybe one or two drives, a delay and a reverb, maybe some modulation, maybe you got a tremolo or a chorus pedal on your board, that's essentially what we're recreating here on the Headrush unit itself. It's just I got my drive, so I can go from my clean to my rhythm type sound. And then turn on my drive. And then, some tremolo, whatever I want. So that's a cool amp. Let's go find, I like the TS mod here for the JCM 800. Okay, so now to answer that guy's question, there's a few things you can do here. We can save this rig, and we obviously have a high gain amp in there. We can actually turn that off, and then we can go add one more. And let's just keep it real clean and basic. We'll do a Princeton reverb, for example. Okay. Okay. And now we have two tones we can use, or two amps in the rig we can use. But at this point, we have to utilize hardware assign and the scenes option to tell this to toggle back and forth. So now we have to go in here, and I'm going to click on amp and then press edit. And let's just make one switch toggle back and forth between the two different amps. So this is going to be amp is on, and this amp is going to be off. Everything else is going to be no change. Then go to the switch state 2. And now you see the first amp is off and the second amp is on. So it's almost like it wants me to, it knows what I want, right? All right, so we're saving all that. And now I'm going to my bank mode. And there's my scene. Stuff like that. So you can see that switching back and forth between the different amps. Okay, but let's do one more better here. Let's say we want... I'll put this scene down here like that. And then go back to my my bank A or B, whichever that is. So my scene 7 is my amp switcher. That switch state stuff, that was all added last year sometime. I'm not sure exactly what even number. Oh man, what number of update we're on? I don't know. But it's a good utility way of switching things really easily while still keeping other things on. Okay. So yeah, there you go. There's a modeler that has all the amps and cabs and effects you would ever want. And you can get into the whole debate of, is the fractal better than a headrush or a helix, or the quad cortex, is it better than a Kemper? I mean, they all do very similar things, whichever user interface and how you turn the knobs and push the buttons, and all that's just secondary to, they all have amps and cabs and great effects. You can get cool sounds with any of them. Okay, now let's go ahead and swap out what am I even on? I'm on 9 and 10. So let's swap this out here. Let's turn this off. Let's do a little switcheroo. Let's do a switcheroo here. Now I have the, well, let me switch, and then I'll talk about what I'm doing. So there's the head rush. Oh man, we'll stick that there. Keep this down so you can't see what it is. Oh no, I'm about to show off what it is. Let's go back here. No. Stop it. Stop it. Oh man. I'm in trouble. Yeah, we'll just do that for now. Okay. Wow. Okay. Power supplies everywhere. I will show you what I did today here in a second. Once I get this set up, I can flip the webcam around. Oh man! All right, so we have this. And I'm gonna need. Let me grab this cable real fast. Plug this one in while I'm at it. Go into that. We'll go into that. Okay, I'm back. I am back and better than ever. And now we have something like this. Let me find where I'm at. Oh no. How'd that even happen? Okay. All right, so if you can't see, it is the Blue Guitar Amp 1. Boom, 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 boom. So this is, in all regards, it is a real amp. It has a analog solid state front end. And then it has a Russian nanotube in the power section. So it is a tube amp of sorts. But it does have it's still analog front end. There's nothing digital about this amp except for the reverb. The reverb is digital, and most reverbs these days have a little bitty chip that you can use, and all that. So let's see what I'm doing here. Going into 11. Okay. And actually, my friend at church that's going to start playing electric guitar, I probably just put the Amp 1 back on my HX Effects board and then just let him use the Amp 1 and HX Effects for all his stuff. And then he can have fun playing around with delays and overdrives and all that. So that might be the way to go. That'd be cool. So now we have 4 channels on this amp. 4 different channels. Right now I have it on modern. Probably turn this up a little bit. Okay. Now, this amps in this category, amps that already have a record out or a line out with a cab or amps, not an amp, but a amp. What am I saying? A cab sim on the output. this Blue Guitar Amp 1, you do not have to have plugged into a speaker cab in order to safely run it. You can just use it standalone. You can use the record out. You can plug those into headphones, or you can go into an FR speaker, or you can go to front of house, whatever you want. But it does actually have a speaker output, and do not mistakenly do not mistake that for an output that would go into your recording interface, for instance. Do not use a speaker output for recording interfaces. Always use a line out or a record out on the amp. Otherwise, you will grossly damage the next piece of equipment in line if you run a speaker signal to a line input. That's just not going to work. Okay, so do not make that mistake. Not saying I've ever done it, but there are warning labels for a reason. So please do not mistake a speaker output versus a line or a record out on an amp. Now, other amps in this category could be the Rev, like D20, Gs, whatever those are. Those are amps that have built-in cab sims on the output there, and they're actually tube. They're all tube. They're like little heads that you can sit on your desk, and or just wherever on your shelf, desk, whatever you're doing, whatever your setup will withstand. And and amp manufacturers have done that these days because they know they are competing against maulers that have all the amps and cabs and effects built in, and they want to give you that extra flexibility that a real amp can give you, but also with the record output, it can either be XLR or it can be a 1/4 inch record output that you can send straight to your front of house or your recording interface and get great tones recording in your home studio or bedroom or living room or wherever you're at. And that also alleviates the need to mic a speaker cabinet either on stage or in your studio. And and you can really just you can keep the volume levels a lot lower and not have to worry about waking up your neighbors and all the arguments you can find of people not wanting to be loud in their neighborhood. So let's play a little bit more through this amp 1. Okay. Let's switch over to the classic channel, and this is more of like your JCM 800 type stuff. Okay, and then we got our vintage channel, which is your JTM 45 lower gain Marshall. Not lower gain, but just a different voicing. I have no idea why, but I'm really tired. All right, going back. We can take the clean channel, actually. We can crank it all the way up. Or if you want to roll it down and then turn the master back up. Cool. So that's really three very valid options for playing in the studio: amp sim plugins, modeling, or real amps that you either mic, or more modernized amps that have the record out or the line out. Even the little Boss Katana back here, which you can't see because it's dark. But the Boss Katana is a really good recording option. It does have a USB port on it, so you can probably use it as an interface. But I do not prefer using modelers or amps with USB ports as the interface itself, because you can't do what I'm doing now, is use a microphone or record a drum set or other signals that you may want to record at the same time as your guitar. And once you've taken the option to add more than one signal into your computer, you are grossly limiting yourself, I think. So we still got two people watching, not a whole lot of chatter going on, which is fine. We've gone for about an hour now. Real fun. Let me mute my channel here. Mute that. Let me show you what I did today. And more than likely, I will make a dedicated video about this. Get this cable out of the way. Okay. So what we've done here, I'm gonna grab the webcam. Okay, so you can't really see that, but I've added. Bring the mic over here a bit. So I've added a TV ceiling stand kind of connector deal. So it's connected right there on a stud, or on the beam on the roof. Conveniently right next to an electrical outlet, which I could use to plug in, but I'm not. And why there is a wooden stick there is the metal pole that came with this is probably meant for like a 8-foot ceiling, 7.5-foot ceiling, but definitely not a 9-foot ceiling. And I did not have enough length, otherwise the TV will be really high. See, I still have the feet on there I need to take off. But I wanted to be able to sit here. I wanted to be able to sit here at my desk and have my main screen down here, but then the bigger screen right above it, even though it is kind of back behind there a little bit. You can kind of see my Ecamm Live stuff going on. There's a new 32C console right there. I made it as a screensaver. So yeah, so there's the TV and the monitor set up there. There's some SSL controllers. They do work really well. There's a 360 link thing coming up very soon, I think in April, to where you can use any plugin with the UC1. And it is my goal, and probably other people's goals, to natively map the UC1 to Harrison Mix Bus. I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, but let me see if I can open up a session, which I know I can. So here's my Mix Bus thing there. And I got to be careful what I choose. I don't have to be careful, but see, this is going to open up. It should open up. Okay. It's thinking. It's loading the tracks. So, I'm not saying this is going to be my setup forever. I just brought it home from work so I can test it out. But essentially, you would have your 8 faders here, and then you can bank over left and right. Okay. And then over here, you could have whatever plugins you had in your session. You can just control the EQ. You can control the compression over here. All that kind of stuff. So really neat. You can see my editor view here. Then up top, I have the mixer view. But I could switch that over if I wanted. Or I could just have everything on the bottom screen or the top screen. Let's just say I had everything on the top screen. Nice and big. I could keep the bottom window for my my Total Mix software. Maybe a web browser is pulled up for lyrics or something. All kinds of options there. So let's see what I want to do. I want to go here and I want to attach the mixer. Okay, so now I can just toggle back and forth like I normally would on the screen. Then I have my big screen up top with my Ecamm stuff junking up the screen. But I could have my Total Mix software up there. Right, I can pull that up and move that up there. Like so, that I can have a web page over here and all that. So that's what I did today, folks. That's what I did today. Or at least this afternoon. I really wish all this stuff wasn't in the way. No idea. But anyway, there you go. I'm going to turn off the blue guitar amp 1. You can hear it's quieter now because this has a little fan in the back. So it's fine when you're playing rock and roll, but not so much otherwise. Man. Okay. So I'm back. And plus, having the smaller screen down here, I can now just have my webcam right above it. And that works good. I may eventually get some different camera stands of some sort. And have a camera on the left or the right. So I can have different angles all pointing at me. And yeah. So if there's Terry and Thomas is in the house. What up, guys? If y'all have any questions for me, let me know now. And I would be happy to discuss those with you. Otherwise, I got some mixing to do. This is a song I have pulled up here. Let's see what I can got going on here. So this is a song that I utilize some MIDI tracks. I got Superior Drummer. And this is more of an old school song. So I can pull up, what kind of kit did I have? Definitely wasn't that kit. It should be this kit right here. Make sure this isn't cached. I want it fully loaded, man. Fully loaded. So for example, let me solo with these drums here. yeah, so it's going to fit the song really well. But the cool thing about this session is this. We have this kind of stuff. All right, this is all with the Gerald MIDI synth. So we got some seagulls going. We got some waves crashing in the background. This is all built into Mixbus. See, we got some accordion. All right, so I'm not going to play the whole song, but you can kind of get the point. So that's going to be a cool little sea shanty kind of deal. And I got some acoustic and some bass and drums and seagulls and waves crashing, stuff like that. So Thomas Moore is thinking of getting AT. I don't know what that is. You're going to have to explain a little bit more what that is there. I'm really baffled why I'm getting this thing. That was show all cameras. I don't want that. Wow. This thing has not been good. Oh, Ecamm. Ecamm Live. Let's do a new scene and just do that. Wow. I'm not sure what's going on. All right, anyway, I'll just stick with this. Tonemaster Deluxe or Princeton Tonemaster or Princeton Reissue. I'm wanting a light, smaller amp for gigs. What do you think of the Tonemaster? Well, I do have the FR10 from Fender, and it is a very nice FR speaker that you can use with any modeler. But I'm assuming that you have probably a pedal board of like physical pedals that you use, and you're running to just run a different amp. What amp do you have currently? That would be my next question. What amp do you have? I'm really baffled why I'm getting a split here. I don't want a split. Let me show this in all scenes. Yeah, so there's that. I can go like this. Wow, that was scary. All right, I'm going to shut down my my Mixbus session here. And so I'm actually looking up and over the camera, looking at my big screen. But yeah, I really do not know why my screen is split like this. Current application. I'm gonna have to get that figured out. I did play a ToneMaster Deluxe at a guitar store one time, and I felt the amp by itself was good. It's more than sufficient to do anything you'd want live. But the YouTube videos that I've seen of people using pedals into the ToneMaster version or the real version, like a real Princeton versus the ToneMaster Princeton. Something about the ToneMaster didn't take pedals as well. Interestingly enough, but I don't remember. See, I'm gonna pull up my webpage here. Let's go to Sweetwater. Let's go to sweetwater.com and we're gonna look up ToneMaster. Let's just say Princeton Reverb. $8.99, and on the back we do have an XLR with a line out, so that's good. You also have a power attenuator. So this is only a 12 watt amp, but it's still, it's still pretty loud, 12 watts, I would think. You do have a foot switch. You can turn on and off tremolo, stuff like that. But essentially this kind of modeling is the same stuff that's in the ToneMaster Pro, the Mahler unit. I can't hear the Pod Go in our monitor mix live. Okay, well there you go. So you use a Pod Go as your amp and multi effects, so that's good. Vox AC10, Mesa Express, Fender Concert, that is 72 pounds with the EV, also have a Pod Go. I can't hear the Pod Go in our monitor mix live. Honestly, if you have a Pod Go and you're using that for your main effects, I would get the ToneMaster, the FR12, for instance, from Fender. This is $550, so it's going to be a little bit cheaper. It is back ordered right now, which is interesting. I got the 1x10, and there's also a demo model for $449. I have the FR10, and that sounds really good. It's plenty loud for any environment you would ever want to play in, and you'll essentially take an XLR to the front of house, and then you would take a separate output of that Pod Go and go into the ToneMaster FR10 or FR12, whichever you choose to get, and that will give you plenty of volume for the stage. So that's what I would do if I was in your shoes. If you really wanted to use a cab with a real amp, then a ToneMaster amplifier is fine. And I know for a fact that the only issue with that is this. There's no effects loop on the ToneMaster amplifiers. So if you're using a cabless output from the Pod Go into the effects return of an amp, essentially using it as an FR speaker, then that's a good solution. But going into the front end of an amplifier from the Pod Go I don't think it's going to be a good sound, because now you're doubling up the preamp from the Pod Go with a preamp on the amp, and sometimes those two doesn't blend well, hardly at all, in my professional opinion. So, Well, I understand that. I like using an amp live, easier to turn knobs and pedals. But let's see what else you got. Vox AC10, Mezza 550 Express, Fender Concert with the EV also have a Pod Go. But what are you using for your main effects? If you're using the Pod Go for the effects, and you're not using the amp sim or the cab sim and only using it for effects, then the FR10 would not be the solution for you. You would want to use an actual amp. But if you are using the built-in amps and cabs on the Pod Go, then an FR solution would be the best option because you have all the amps and amp cabin effect sounds in that one unit, and then from there um, you just send that signal to front of house and to an FR speaker. That's what I would do. I really do not. This is my personal experience at this point. I have pretty much quit using amps altogether. I do have them here in the studio because it's easier to jam with other guys. But when I play it at church, I just use headphones and I go direct into the front of house. We have a MyMix system that I can use everything with in ears. But it's very possible you're either playing clubs or bars, and they don't have an in ear system. You're not going to be able to use headphones. So therefore, you need something in your back line that gives you extra volume. Not using Pod Go for effects, basic overdrive pedals, delays, etc. Then what's the Pod Go for then? Are you using the Pod Go just for the amp and cab, and then you're using analog or actual pedals? Okay. I don't feel I can use the Pod Go live. I could use an Iridium. Now, the Pod Go actually has the exact same amps and cabs that the full-size Helix has, but for way less. Um, I would have no issues at all with the Pod Go. Actually, let's look this up real fast. Because this might be if my worship leader eventually gets something to play with at church, this would be a really good option, I think. So it does have a wall wart kind of power supply, which is fine. It's got the phones, the amp. It has an amp out. So that's what you're setting the full rig minus the speaker cab or the speaker sim in the Pod Go to either an FR, actually not a, sorry. You're sending that out to a effects return of an amplifier. So therefore you're bypassing the preamp of the real amp and just using it as a power amp in a cab. And then you still have the main out left and right to go to the front of house, which you will need some kind of direct box because this just has 1/4 inch outs. Then you do have an effects loop in there. You got an expression switch too and a guitar in, and that's about it. So I've had the HX effects for many years. I've had the HX Stomp. I now have the full HX, the Helix Floor Platinum Edition, which I like the color of that. And all Line 6 stuff is great. You can get great tones from all that stuff. And then if you just need a basic speaker on the stage, then the Fender would be good. Some people is like a love or hate relationship with the Headrush FR 108s or 112s. They can tend to sound a little woolly. But honestly, the new Fender Tonemaster speaker or the FR speaker sounds really, really good. So I highly suggest that. I use it for practice into a PA, so that's fine. We only have 2 mixes from our PA, and we share them with X5 wireless in-ears. Okay. And he also has the M9, which is effects only as well. I've also owned all the M series pedals. So I had the M9 first, then I got the M13, then I downgraded all the way down to the M5. And that's what I actually toured Europe with, along with some other analog pedals on my board. Was the M5, some analog dirt pedals, Boss DD6 delay, a TC Electronic Hall of Fame pedal, and that was about it. So here's the thing. If you don't want to use the Podgo in a live situation, and you only want to use the M9 for your effects and maybe some other drive stuff, then you have to have a real amp. Otherwise, you can't use an FR speaker. So at that point, a Tonemaster Pro, using the M9 into the front of the Tonemaster, not the Tonemaster Pro, but the Tonemaster like Princeton or Deluxe or Super Reverb. Let's see what other options there are. Because I know they first came out with the Twin, I think. They had the Twin and the Deluxe. Fender, and then there might be other options as well. The Twin Reverb is $1,000. I mean, for a solid state amp, I mean, $1,000 is a lot. You got the Princeton, you got the Twin Reverb again, you got a Tonemaster Deluxe, $949 for that thing. I mean, that's a lot. I mean, you're almost better off. I mean, you're buying the Tonemaster for the weight, because it weighs less than a real, any other amp. Very lightweight, maybe 20 pounds or so, 20, 30 pounds. The Super Reverb is $1,300. $1,250, but let's just round up. $1,300. I mean, that's a lot of dough for a solid state amp. Another great option, if you're going to go that route, something very lightweight, but costs way less than a Fender, is the Aviator Cub. And I'll tell you why I like this amp, because I have it right over here. Let me grab it real fast. Okay, so here we are. Right, here's the Quilter. And what's cool about this amp is it has a separate speaker knob or speaker volume versus the signal volume, which is what you're sending to your front of house. So what's very cool about that is whatever level the front of house guy needs, you can send him that level, but still control the speaker volume that you get on stage totally separate. And I got this used for about $500. I think brand new they're like $6.99, which you can see here on Sweetwater. $6.99. So they have the USA model, which has your tweed, your blonde, and your black kind of Fender combo amp sounds. Then they have a UK version, which gives you the JMP, the AC normal, and the top boost. So lots of cool options there. You can see you got the speaker volume, the signal outputs for line and headphones, which is great. So you can use this amp for like silent recording, an effects loop with the send and return, and a reverb level. You got your gain, limiter, bass, mid, and treble. So you can really dial in the preamp sound however you want, just a good clean, the light overdrive sound, and then kick in your dirt and delays or even just use a 4-cable method with the effects loop. So you got the M9 with your dirt stuff in the front end of the amp, then all your delays and reverbs and modulations in the effects loop of the amp. And this thing is very lightweight. It's very small. And I'm just gonna plug that in right there. Actually, let me do this. Let's plug into this amp over here, shall we? Speaking of amps that you can use live, and I gotta get the AC pair, the power cable here. Talk amongst yourselves, will ya? Talk amongst yourselves. Okay, so now take this other end of this cable. Plug this in over here. Man, we got issues. Okay. We will go into the black channel for now. All right, you're not going to see this, but okay, let me go down here. Okay, so all that room volume that you're hearing is the speaker output. So let me turn that down. So now you're only hearing, now you're only going to hear the line output. I'm going to put the EQ at 12 o'clock here. So this amp sounds really good out of the box. It sounds great in the room when you turn up the speaker sound. We can even crank it a little bit. And we can turn the gain down and get a little quieter. So now with that basic clean sound, I can't talk tonight. Basic clean sound, whatever multi-effects or pedal board you have, you can use the 4-cable method. You can use dirt in the front, delay and reverb in the back, and so on. So you could easily get a Boss Katana. That is very true. Boss Katanas are a little bit cheaper. Let's go for that. And honestly, Boss Katanas sound really good. I mean, the 100 watt for $379. I just don't know if you're going to find a better deal than that, honestly. Honestly. So this has the cab emulated. What does it say here? Cab emulated line and headphone record outputs. So you don't get the separation between the line out volume and the speaker volume. But I think the cab emulation just has a predetermined output. Let's go ahead and try that real fast. Let's just try it while we're at it, okay? Let me mute my signal here. Turn off the speaker. A little closer to me. All right. Doing all this for you, Thomas. Because I love you, man. I don't want to steer you wrong. Okay, let's unmute this here. Yeah. So that's the crunch tone. Here's the clean. Very nice. We'll turn the EQ up here. Volume. Let me check something. Alright, so this is what I suspected. When the record output is being used, it bypasses the speaker on the amp. Let's see what else I can do here. Here's the line out. Okay, so now you hear through the microphone here that so I am sending a signal to the front of house, but there's really not a way unless let's see. So I can use the line out, but I have to put the power control on standby. You can hear the volume there. I can turn it up more. What up, Francis? Francis is in the house. Yes, he is. I would say the Quilter and the Katana both sound good, but the Katana is less money, and it has all the amps. It has other amp channels and effects already built in. So honestly, if you got this with the little, what does this say? Boss GA EX foot controller for Boss Katana amps. Ooh, I didn't know. I didn't think they were that expensive. Let me just look. What's going on here? So channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, channel 4, panel, effects. Why? What's going on here? Effects pedal 1 and 2. I'm trying to figure out why that one is more expensive than the other one that I saw. So this is only $129. So that one didn't have as many expression pedal options. You got foot control, effects, volume. All right, so expression pedal for volume and effects or something. So, you have a demo for 112. Interesting. I could swear these were like $50 or something, but maybe not. I would go for the 100-watt version because you get all this stuff. This is what the 50-watt does not have. It doesn't have the line out or the effects loop or any of that stuff. So this is what you want. Okay. So if you don't want the speaker, well, let me try something. See what happens. Okay. Ooh, France is in Costa Rica. That's cool. So what I just discovered is this is probably a good thing. The line out cab emulated line. Okay, so it does have a cab emulation on the line and a headphone record outputs, which is also cab emulated. So what you can do, this is something I just literally learned a second ago, was use the line output on the Boss Katana and then set the power control to whatever you want. And then you can essentially send the line out with a certain volume, however high you have your volume on the preamp. And then the master volume is what controls the actual speaker volume. Stuff like that. So let me see what I'm hearing. There you go. I think you'd be hard pressed to find a better amp than that. And honestly, $379 versus the Tone from Fender stuff. Wow. Really, really good. There you go. Thomas, if you are still watching, mine is the MK2. Yes. It's the Katana 100 MK2. If you are going to buy new from Sweetwater, I would appreciate if you use my affiliate link at the bottom of any of my videos, and also this video after I get done with the stream. See how long have I been going? About an hour 45 minutes. So I'll shut this off here pretty soon. But that's a good question, and I even learned something tonight about my own Boss Katana that I did not know about before. Was the line out is a separate volume. It's really based on the volume of your preamp, and then the master volume controls the actual speaker volume in the room. And all that fun stuff. You can turn on some reverb. Then I'll turn down the master, and now only hear it through my headphones into my interface. Okay, we can turn all this back to 12 o'clock. Wow. Okay. And this does have a USB on it, so you can plug it into a computer. And I don't have a USB here close, but I need to do a whole video series on the Boss Katana, and kind of show off the ins and outs of what it can do. All right, let's go to the. Here's the crunch channel. There's a little brown sound. Yeah. And what's cool is there's essentially 8 different channels that you can save. Yeah, 8 tone slots on here. So if you did want to add the foot switch to that, you could really just have the foot switch and the amp, and that's all you would use. And I need to get more educated on this foot switch here. Control 1 and 2, control 2. What is that doing? Something's going on there. Because you have the effects function, so you can turn on and off the mod, the booster, the mod, the effects, the delay, and the reverb. That's really cool. Tap 1. Pedal effects, loop, tap 1. Yeah, I need to do more research on this. Here's the video you can watch. Easily switch between all of your Katana's tonal presets via the 4-channel switches and the panel switch. A quick tap of the effect switch allows you to fine-tune your pedal presets in real time with boost, modulation, delay, reverb, and more. Intuitive operation and clearly visible 2 color LEDs for easy status identification. Yeah, so I would say this plus the amp for that $500 range I mean, this would be great for the practice place. It could be great in your living room or your bedroom. Then you can take it to your gig and have a great amp on stage. So I'm pretty sure here in Nashville, there's a lot of guys using the Box Katana down on Broadway, doing all the honky tonk stuff. It's just a nice, clean. Well, it can be clean, but it's just a nice, loud, bare bones amplifier that sounds really good, but it still has a lot of effects built in, so it has extra flexibility. And there is a stereo link. So if you wanted to have two of these suckers connected up, where's the stereo? The stereo expand. So you would do the, I think you would do the power amp in. So maybe a line out to the power amp in of the next one. Something like that. That's how you can connect with the two Boss Katanas at once. So yeah, it does sound really good. So I'm sorry I didn't suggest that first. I am a quilter fan, but these Boss Katanas are really just a no-brainer of a deal. I'm going to sneak in a little bit of that room sound. So the master up here. Now the foot control, that's just a normal 1/4 inch cable, maybe even a TRS cable, but still you could have the amp pretty far back behind you and then just run a cable up to the front of stage where you're standing. And you can even make like a little daisy, like a little snake with your guitar cable and the GAFC connector cable. It also has an aux in, so you can play backing tracks and stuff through it, or you can play music through it and sound really good. Now, there is the, I don't really care too much about the artist. But let me just see what it is. There is a head. I did have the head version of the katana. And that's a cool little option as well. Because it does have a small speaker built in. And then you can just take that to your gig. But it didn't have obviously it didn't have a speaker connected. So that would not work with your needs. It says a speaker out. I'm just trying to see if there's another option here. Nah, I'm not too worried about the artist. But yeah, I would just get the get that old Boss Katana and be done with it. Here I am. Half of the screen is gone. I'll fill it up with let's do this. Let's just do that. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I had a lot of fun talking about all the different options for either playing at your desk, playing in your studio or a friend's house or your living room, or even playing on stage. And then Thomas brought up a really good point about if you need stage volume, an amp sim plug-in is not going to do that for you. Okay. If you need stage volume, just a normal, any of the modeling units out there, it's not going to do that for you. You actually have to have some kind of power amp and speaker to fill up the room. And so we looked at some different ToneMaster options. We looked at some FR options. But in the end, we determined that the Boss Katana, it's a steal of a deal. You really can't go wrong. And yeah, it's a good deal. So let's go with the lead sound here. Okie doke. I'm happy with all that. Thanks, guys, for watching. I am Dr. McFarland. I did a few shorts so far this week on the YouTube channel. I'll do a few more shorts. I'll also have at least one more full-length video for this week. Not quite sure what that's going to be yet. And but yeah, check the channel. Be sure to subscribe down below if you're not subscribed already, and click the bell for future notifications. And help support the channel by clicking on a link in the description, either to Sweetwater or Amazon, or to purchase purchase any kind of courses I have available on my website. I do not do the join button for memberships. I do not do Patreon. I don't do any of that stuff. I just get straight support from anybody that wants to buy my headrush products, my Kemper rigs, my fractal presets, my Helix presets. And if you want to learn more about music theory, about recording, I have all those kind of courses on my website. So thanks everyone for watching. I'm Dr. McFarland. I'll see you in the next video. Keep rocking.